And we are live. Welcome to this week's episode of the Bullpen Cart presented by ThunderblogSports.com. I, of course, am the G-Man, Jordy Cannell. With me, once again, is my man, Greg Piatelli. What's going on, buddy?
Beautiful Monday here from Boston. Sunny skies. Great breezy weather. Not too hot. Perfect. And the Celtics are up 1-0.
No, what a game from them last night against the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, I mean, we can save it for the end, but it was a good way to start. But with that team and that superstar, the Celtics have been here before, and we'll talk about it at the end.
Well, I want to ask you a quick question. Since the Coach of the Year award is now basically vacant, does Brad Stevens just get it by default? Anyway, we jump into baseball. MLB Week 6 in the books. We are midway through May, so I'd say roughly a third of the way through the season. And things are shaking up a little bit. We're getting some of the teams that we thought might be good that are up there, and some surprises. We're probably going to touch on all of them. But Greg, we're going to start right away. Hot and cold teams in the American League. We'll start with you. Who do you got?
I have the Houston Astros.
There it is.
Here it is. Winners of 5 of the last 6, I know, is Athletics and the Rangers. But after losing 2 out of 3 to the Diamondbacks, 3 out of 4 to the Yankees, it's good for them to sort of get back to their winning ways. Sort of team that you're surprised by, I'm sure, but a team that we certainly at the beginning of the year thought would have a repeat performance of last year, and their starting pitching is definitely there. And their hitting starting to come around. So, I think they're going to be a team to reckon with here coming up in the next couple of weeks. And I think this was sort of the week that turned it around for them.
No, I like that. It's definitely a good pick. Yeah, and it's one we talked about a little bit. They'd had kind of a shaky start to the year, especially with how good a lot of those teams in the AL West have been. So I definitely would hop on with that. I mean, their run differential is still outrageous at plus 91. But yeah, I mean, you'll probably see their home record start to match and hopefully eclipse their away record of 14-6. They're currently 12-10 at home. So we'll see how that continues to go for them.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like I said, I mean, their pitching has been unbelievable, phenomenal all year. And I think, they'll definitely, I mean, their bullpen has been shaky, but they'll figure it out, and I think they'll be, again, a team to reckon with. The thing that surprised me the most is their home record. They're only 12-10 at home, which means they're significantly better on the road, which also, take it how it is, but a little surprised by that, and I don't watch enough Astros games to know why, but definitely surprised. Jordy, who's your hot team in American League?
So my American League team is going to be the Minnesota Twins, who lost yesterday on the back of a Shohei Ohtani gem, but they are 7 of 10 in their last 10 games. Did split that series with a very good LA Angels of Anaheim team. They swept a 2-game series with the Cardinals up in St. Louis, and prior to that, they'd taken 3 out of 4 from the White Sox. So, I mean, they're beating the teams that are on their schedule. They're beating quality teams, and handedly, when they beat the Cardinals, they won 6-0 and 7-1 respectively. So they're really starting to get it together. That pitching staff is still a little shaky, but their offense is at least starting to bloom into the team we thought it might be. They're still got a long way to climb to put themselves into any sort of talk for repeat appearance in the American League wild card game. But with Cleveland still being a little here and there, they're not too far out in the division.
Yeah, and I mean they're still below 500, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, but you're right. I mean,
they're a game and a half out of the Central, is what I mean, because Cleveland's a game.
Certainly have made it easy for them, and I mean the way the Yankees and Angels look, I'm not sure they're going to get a wild card spot.
Exactly,
but you're right. They did certainly have a great week, and sort of better quality teams than the Astros in terms of they beat the Angels and beat the Cardinals and the White Sox. So great pick, Jordy. Great pick.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of teams that were, near flat for the week or could have been down, but we'll obviously get to those in a second. So had to give some love to a team that we were a little disappointed with to start the year and are finally starting to claw their way back to, somewhat of a, decent performance.
Agreed. Agreed. And I mean, well, we could talk about it further, but another team that I was thinking about was the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, or which Anaheim is whatever spiel you give.
Of California, of America, of which America, North America.
Thank you. Also surprised by their home record, 10-12 at home and 14-4 on the road. What do you think the deal is with Houston and Los Angeles? Do you think it's because they have huge parks? Is that why they're not doing well at home, or do you think it's just they don't have that good routine? What do you think it is?
Yeah, I mean, it could be that. I mean, it's not like they're playing in tiny parks for every single one of their away games, and their offense is just killing it. Although they are, I mean, it could just be they're not showing up at the right time. I mean, Houston didn't really start off the year so well, and it could be something where they've had just so many more away games recently with their better record. But yeah, I mean, sometimes that just happens. I mean, Cleveland's not doing so hot or actually they are. But Minnesota's 7-7 at home. Toronto 7-7. I wanted to pull up the two teams in the American League East, but they both are killing it at home, and they're both killing it on the road as well. But yeah, I mean, you sometimes see that at the beginning of the year. So there isn't, there's might not be any rhyme or reason because they're both, teams with solid lineups and at their best, great pitching staff. So it might just be, you squeak one out here and there. I don't have the run differential breakdown of home and away. That might be able to tell the story a little better.
No, I mean, the only reason I asked is because the Red Sox actually absolutely blew the doors off of Los Angeles when the Angels were the home team. So, I didn't know if that was like a common practice. But a team, Jordy, we would be not a good pot if we didn't mention the Yankees as a hot team, as they have just had, 2, 3, 4 losses in the last 2 weeks.
8-2 in their last 10, yeah.
No, but even further back than that, they had the crazy win streak.
18 until your Red Sox stopped it last month. What was it, Thursday? The day game?
Exactly. So they we'd be kicking ourselves if we didn't talk about them, and they have the Nationals coming up. Not today, but tomorrow, I believe. That's going to be a great series.
Yeah, for a little 2-game set.
So, we'd be kicking ourselves if we didn't talk about them, and sort of combating the unbelievable start the Red Sox got off to. The Yankees sort of have now had their own little streak and run of their own. So two teams, and the Red Sox, have done enough to stay in first place as well. So two teams that certainly have been streaky and hopefully killing it throughout the regular season. Jordy, give me your hot team from the National League.
For the National League, my hot team is going to be the Washington Nationals, the team we just talked about playing the Yankees, who really had a very, very mediocre start to their season. They're 8-2 in their last 10, currently on a 4-game winning streak, having gone to Arizona, another team normally good at home, and took all 4 games there. So that's huge for them, and it really cools off an Arizona team that we'll probably get to them in a little bit, but normally very good at home. It's part of why they made it to the NLDS last year after playing in the wild card game. But kind of a breakdown on Washington. They've had, the up and down year I mentioned, but their pitching staff has really gotten it back together. They're 4th in ERA. They're 2nd in WHIP. Their offense is getting it together, putting runs across the board, and their batting average is slowly but surely clawing its way back up. Currently in 20th, but I have a feeling that's going to look a lot better. But yeah, when you go on a Pennsylvania, then West Coast swing, literally every team they've played this month has either been in the state of Pennsylvania or in California. You're gonna see some some performance there. They took down a Pirates team that might have started a little hotter than you wanted. So they took them down. Then they took 2 out of 3 from the Phillies, which we talk about a lot. And then taking 2 out of 3 in San Diego, a team that you might have hoped you would get a sweep there, but then you get the all-important 4-game sweep against a division leader. So big on them. They're starting to really look like the team that we all thought they were going to be at the preseason.
True, and Bryce Harper really is playing for that paycheck, and he's proven why he's worth whatever number he's going to get. So now my hot team I was going to think about was going to be the Phillies, but it sounds like you and Matty D have a Phillies pod coming out Thursday, and now it's been set into existence, so it has to happen. No backing out now. So
if you want to talk about them, we can do that. But.
Fine. You know what? The Phillies, Jordy.
All right. Yeah. It's a good way to plug Thursday. Tell me about my team.
So, no, you know what? I'm switching it. I'm going with the Braves. The Phillies, honestly, the thing I'll say about the Phillies is when they have home games like they've had recently, a stretch of home games, they're going to win just because they play in that little league park that they call Citizens Bank. So
whoa!
Their offense is going to look good in that big park, in that little tiny park. So naturally here and there. But anyway, you can prove me wrong and talk about it on the pod on Thursday without me trying to get back in your face. But I'm going to go with Atlanta as my hot team.
Okay.
They beat the Rays 2 in a row, split with the Marlins, beat the Marlins 2 out of 3. 3 out of 4, and then beat the Cubs yesterday, and now playing the Cubs again next week. So for this week, so I'm gonna go with the Braves, and just like everyone else, talk about their young guys. And I don't know if you remember, Jordy, in our preseason pod, we talked about the number one prospect in baseball,
Ronald Acuna, murdering the game.
Yes, junior. Don't get the junior part.
He's not OG Ronald. Sorry.
Yeah, 18 games played. He absolutely tearing the cover off the ball. He strikes out a lot, but still got 6 RBIs, 18 games, 19.
Millennial ball. That's what it is.
Yeah, 19 hits, 12 runs, and so he's. I think he might be the real deal, and this team is young and proving. Young talent wins, and that's more proof of even the Red Sox last year, and you could argue Houston Astros, and you could argue the Royals when they won, and so something to consider, something to think about. Atlanta would be my team. Jordy,
think about this before we jump off of Atlanta. They got Acuna. They have Dansby Swanson, who's having a tremendous bounce back year, and Ozzie Albies, 3 super young guys who, are the core of your team. And then you have Freddie Freeman and Nick Markakis that are having incredible years so far. They have better batting averages, but Albies has 12 homers. Freddie Freeman got 8. Markakis has 7. Swanson's got 2 and 13 ribbies, but he's batting .289. That's the best of all the young guys. Ryan Flaherty's having a good year for them. Preston Tucker. But really that core 3 of Albies, Acuna, and Swanson, if they keep this up and develop more and more and more, albeit in about half the games, Acuna has 3, so he could, potentially be on pace, although I don't want to say that, for 6 and so on and so forth as the season goes on. But that young core is definitely, if you're an Atlanta Braves fan, that's something that you should be very, very excited about.
Agreed. And the only thing about Dansby Swanson is that he did just recently go on the DL, but they're still winning. That's
true too, yeah.
No, you're right. He was a guy that you and I talked about last year as being huge and potential Rookie of the Year candidate. So, great call. My cold team, because I know where you're going for the National League, is going to be the New York Mets. Ever since they traded Steve Harvey and then they lost the Phillies.
Steve Harvey?
The Phillies lost 2 out of 3 to the Reds. Swept by the Rockies.
They split it with the Phillies because they only played 2 games. Saturday got rained out.
Right, so they split with the Phillies 2 out of 2, or 1 out of 2. Swept by the Braves, swept by the Rockies, lost 2 out of 3 of the Reds. Sort of a team that's going the wrong way fast, and especially in the NL East where there's a lot of teams ahead of them doing really well. Now's not a time for them to have a big losing streak. So I'm going to go with the Mets, and hopefully they play the Blue Jays this week. Hopefully they can turn it around. since the Blue Jays are also on a little bit of a cold streak, but Mets would be my cold team. Another team that's struggling at home, 7-10 at home versus 12-8 on the road. So a little weird there. Their pitching, I'm not sure, has gotten off to as good a start as they expected. And Jacob deGrom had a first start yesterday.
42 pitches in 1 inning.
Yeah. He also, when did he cut his hair? He looks so different.
He must have just cut it. I was wondering that same thing.
Doesn't look good.
No.
Anyway, anything about the Mets, or you want to give me your cold team since we know where you're going?
No, I was there on Friday at the only game they won, and really, I mean, they did not look sharp throughout the entire game. They really won it because of the fact that the Phillies have issues with the back end of their bullpen, with Hector Neris blowing a save and letting up an absolute bomb to close that one out. But yeah, that offense kind of looked like it was missing a step. Cespedes didn't look like he had a good series. He had a good Sunday, but they looked like they were missing something there, and I'm not sure what it is.
Ooh, are you bad luck?
Maybe, dude. The Phillies have lost, I think, 5 games at home, and I've been there for 4 of them. Like, it's not good. I'm 1-4 this year.
Ooh, he's got a little bit of the curse on him.
I mean, we can get back into the playoff curse. 4 of the 6. I'm going to correct myself. 6 home losses I've been at.
Anyway,
2018 has not been good to me in seeing Philadelphia sports teams in clutch situations or baseball.
I was gonna say, weren't you at the one of the Eagles games?
Yeah, that's the before I thought I was the Falcons game. So I had 1 loss, but I forgot about it when I was thinking about having seen all 3 Flyers home losses and then the Sixers only loss in the first round. I thought I was fucking cursed. And then I remembered I went to the Eagles before the only game they won against the Celtics, which I was also at. So 2-4 in the playoffs for Philadelphia teams. My only hope is the Phillies somehow squeak their way in and go on a little run for me to get back up to 500.
Yeah, good luck.
That's a long road ahead.
Give us your cold team.
Yeah, you alluded to it, and I definitely tipped my hand before, but it's the Arizona Diamondbacks, still leading their division because of the fact that the Rockies have, they've had their ups and downs. That could potentially be another good pick, but yeah, the Diamondbacks, their pitching staff is still one of the best in baseball, which is something that you really wanted out of them. But their offense, this team that we, thought was going to be so great and was going to hit the cover off of the ball, is 30th. That's last in batting average. They're 19th in runs across the major leagues. They're really, not they're not getting it done when they have to. I mean, look at this 4-game series against the Washington Nationals. Thursday they lost 2-1. Friday was 3-1. Saturday was 2-1, and then last night was 6-4 on Sunday. So I mean, their pitching staff is doing it for them. Really, aside from last night. I mean, 6-3 loss to LA, 8-5 win, 3-1 a win against Houston. I mean, the pitching staff, when they're on, they're firing, but the offense, I mean, it's only scored more than 5 runs once in the month of May. And that's that 8-5 win last Tuesday against the Dodgers. Granted, that's in LA, so good for you that you did it on the road, but
yeah, and they had one of their starting pitchers in Robbie Ray go down the 10-day DL, and they're still able to do well. So yeah. I definitely agree that they're a cold team, but at the same time, it's one series in terms of being swept by the Nationals. One series, and the Nationals were the hot team of the week. So it's
a very good point.
Is one series enough because they took 2 out of 3 versus Dodgers, they split the Dodgers, but took 2 out of 3 from the Astros, who. Both those teams were in the World Series last year. So tough stretch going from Houston to the Dodgers. Actually, Dodgers to Houston. Actually, okay, even before that, Nationals to Dodgers to Houston to Dodgers to Nationals, with the Phillies sprinkled in there. So a very tough stretch for this team, which we said going in after last week. So I think
very true. It's just worth noting because it might be the only time we can put them on here.
Oh no, I agree. I think they are the cold team. That was my only thought. My American League cold team is going to be the Cleveland Indians. I know recently they won 2 out of 3 versus the Royals, but before that, swept by the Yankees, split with the Brewers, split with the Blue Jays, lost to the Rangers, lost to the Mariners. So 3 out of 4 to the Mariners. So yeah, they're hanging on for dear life. The Indians are ahead of that in the Central Division, but like you said, the second place team is the Twins at 17 and 19, so below 500. Cleveland 20 and 19 right now. Their pitching is actually doing really well for them. It's their offense that has failed to
That's
produce
the same story as what we were just talking about with Arizona.
Exactly. And it's funny because they still have Francisco Lindor. So problem is they're just not getting anything from anyone else. And you want to talk about RBIs, and you got Brantley, Ramirez, and Lindor all with 25, 26, and everyone else sort of drops off after that.
Very,
so
very top heavy.
Yeah, and Edwin Encarnacion, their quote unquote DH, has not really been doing well for them. So it's surprising. So they're my cold team, and I think they'll turn around hopefully, but I think they're starting to show they're a little older and they don't really have the bat, so I think they need to go out and get a bat big time. Yeah. They did not do a good job this offseason of helping out their cause at all, so we'll see how they go turn it around.
For sure.
Any comments before you give us your cold team of the week, or just give us your AL cold team?
No, a lot of the same. Their pitching's been great, striking people out left and right. Yeah, the offense just top heavy. But yeah, I'll jump right into my cold team. It's going to be the Seattle Mariners. I almost picked Toronto just to kind of re-emphasize the Yankees, Red Sox heat and the widening gap in the AL East. But mine's going to be the Mariners, mainly for the fact of inconsistency to the fact that they're still right in the division. We threw the Astros in as a hot team of the week. They really clawed their way back up. The Angels are hanging around there, but Seattle, their offense does pretty well for itself. It just looks like they can't get the ball across the plate. They have the 5th best batting average in the American League, 12th best in runs. So I mean, really, when you see that range of a top 5 hitting team of getting on base, but not even in the top 10 for runs, that's a little bit of a concern. But then you see their pitching, they're 24th in ERA and 15th in WHIP. So when the pitching's on, it can be great, but if the offense isn't bringing the runners around, it can be tough. They can claw their way out of high scoring affairs. They're able to put up 9 runs twice last week, so good on you. But I'd like to see a little more consistency of a team that I think we were both pretty high on at the beginning of the season, and still can be right there.
Yes, agreed. Switching gears, Jordy.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you knew this, but I was in Chicago this weekend.
Yes. How was your trip?
Great. Went to a Cubs versus White Sox. What do they call that series?
I think it's just the crosstown rivalry.
Crosstown. Crosstown series between the White Sox and the Cubs. Saw the Cubs blow the door off of the White Sox, including Wilson Contreras' grand slam in the first inning. Hit two home runs on the day, and I'm pretty sure it was his bobblehead night. So pretty good night to have a good. I'm pretty
sure that's a silver achievement in MLB The Show. So good job, whoever was controlling the sticks Friday.
Yeah, seriously, Wilson Contreras, nice, well played. So yeah, I mean, switching gears, it was awesome. I'm not sure if you want to get into. I know we have to do the players, but I don't know if you want to get into some of the stadium snacks. But I didn't realize how big hot dogs were in Chicago in terms of like.
Oh, the Chicago dog?
Yeah, like that's all they serve at Wrigley. Like there's no other food besides peanuts and dogs. So
do they even have ketchup anywhere in the building? That's a big deal to somebody from Chicago.
Yeah, I didn't see much of it at all, but I had the dog. It was unbelievable. It was good. I'm not a huge fan of like pickles and all that random stuff on it, but I tried it because I figured
like super green pickle or relish.
Yeah, I figured. Yes, I was trying to figure out what that was. Thank you. Yeah. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was interesting for sure. It was good. Don't get me wrong. So the dog was good, and the peanuts were good, and the beer was good as well. Goose Island apparently is from out there, and Bud Light obviously bought them. So Budweiser bought them. So they were just peddling Goose Island like they They stole. He's still like he stole. He's gonna be like he stole something.
Well, the 312 that's their area code. That's why there's the 312 beer.
There it is.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize how big Chicago was. Like we were in downtown, sort of by like the Navy Pier and where all the huge buildings are, and Sears Tower and Trump Tower and all that. And you take like a 40-minute train ride out.
Yeah.
Wrigley Field. That's still technically Chicago. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, even if you go from like O'Hare or even Midway to like anywhere like near there, or like if you're going up north towards Wrigley or like towards Evansville where Northwestern is, it's like an hour. It's nuts. And there's a ton of traffic because there's not all the roads and shit. It's Chicago's a fun place.
We did the train like the peasants, but
yeah. So you were inside the loop, as they'd say.
Yes, it was good. It was a fun time, great time. But I figured I'd share my stadium snack.
Yeah, no. I'm glad. I was excited to hear how the trip went. I didn't even ask you outside of the show, so
I know that was so rude of you, but
Jesus. All right, let's get into the hot players of the week. Hot and cold players. We'll start with our Roy Hobbs MVP of the week. Greg, I'm gonna do a little pat myself on the back because this guy had been pretty cold and battled injuries a little bit, but I'm gonna go with Scooter Gennett of the Cincinnati Reds.
Nice.
He famously hit the 4 home run game last year after being a spot starter, a little bit of a platoon guy. But he had 4 home runs last week, batted .591, had a couple doubles in there, did not walk, so his on-base percentage is the exact same. Only 1 strikeout, so good on you for your 13 hits and 22 at-bats.
Great pick. And the Reds were almost a team that I went with for a hot team, but I just looking for a little more consistency out of them.
Yeah.
They have won 6 in a row and 7 of the last 10. So I almost picked them, and I really wanted to pick, I really wanted to pick them, and we probably should mention them because they swept the Dodgers and took 2 out of 3 from the Mets. So
well, hey, when they play the Mets again and Matt Harvey throws a no-hitter, we'll talk about them. That's just a Mets thing.
That's a team that that division.
Batting out of order. We didn't even mention that.
We did not even mention that. So great pick, Scooter Gennett, hot player of the week. I Francisco Lindor for me. It was an honorable mention last week, but for me it's this week. I almost went with Contreras, where I saw hit a grand slam, but Francisco Lindor batted .600, 5 RBIs, 4 home runs, and 8 runs scored total. Can't say enough about this guy. He was from my hot team of the week. Cold team of the week, Cleveland. But he is the lone bright spot for that team and will probably continue to be the lone bright spot for that team unless they pick up another big bat. For sure, my hot guy of the week.
Absolutely. Hot guy. Hot cop.
Hot guy.
Speaking of Arrested Development, but it's a little off the pod humor. Ben, do you have any cold players for this week?
Yes, I do. So not a good look. I really want to go with David Price. Because that's a pitcher, but I'm gonna go Dexter Fowler.
Okay.
St. Louis outfielder. Sort of a big signing for them a couple years ago, right?
It was 2 years ago. It was right after the World Series.
Right after the Cubs won. And, the last little stretch he's been on here, one hit in the last, I think, week and a half. No other real stats to prove for it. So he's only had 3 walks, in the last 2 weeks. 3 walks and 1 hit, so not great. Not great for him. So his batting average now for the season has dipped below 146. So Dexter Fowler from the St. Louis Cardinals would be, especially a team that in St. Louis that they're right now a half game out of first in the Central, with the Cubs obviously coming in and Pirates coming fast and the Brewers hanging on for dear life at the top there. So the Cardinals are going to need him, I think, to pick it up in order for them to stay in contention and make a legit run if they want to make a legit run. So
no, I totally agree. And I was going to pick either 2 other guys from the Cardinals, either Colton Wong or Matt Carpenter, both of whom could really make an impact. They both went 0 for the week with Wong having 7 strikeouts and Carpenter having 6. So I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. A little more consistency from these, more established names could really help them. So in light of that, I'm going to pick another guy that went 0 for the week, and he actually had the most ABs and the most strikeouts. That is Christian Villanueva of the San Diego Padres. Padres don't really get a lot of love for us on this podcast, mainly because they've not really done too much for us lately in the year and a half that we've been doing this thing. But Villanueva and the Padres really cementing themselves as the bottom of that division in the National League West. I think they're getting close to eclipsing the Dodgers, who are continuing to plummet. But it's tough to beat a 156 versus 202 runs scored to runs against for -46, and when one of your better hitters is going 0 for 17 on the week, it's not fun, Greg.
I agree. I 100% agree. 100% agree. And that's another team, Jordy. You think they're gonna fall out here fast? I think they're gonna hang on and stay in the race.
Who, the Padres?
Yeah.
I think they've started falling, and I think they're going to continue to. It's the reverse. Staying on Arrested Development, it's the reverse of the episode where they go from sell to don't buy. They're going from don't buy to sell, and instead of everybody celebrating the office, everybody's going to be like depressed.
A little Northeast humor or New England humor for you, for the folks at home. Jordy, quickly, give me a hot pitcher. I don't have a good pitcher, but give me a hot pitcher.
All right, so I could just have easily mentioned Clayton Richard of the San Diego Padres, who went 1-1 on the week, 18 strikeouts over 16 innings. But I am going to go with Dallas Keuchel, who went 2-0, 15 innings pitched, only let up 1 run, struck out 12. We mentioned the Houston Astros as a hot team of the week. But I mean, Keuchel's a guy that now, I think this is the 4th season in a row, has been lights out and really a staple of that Houston Astros rotation that's been getting stronger and stronger, obviously from different acquisitions from trades throughout the years. But Keuchel's a guy that's been a mainstay for him. So good for him of being up there. Another guy, since you don't have anybody that I would be remiss of not mentioning, and we'll be sure to plug him a lot on Thursday.
By the way,
I
just got one. But
darling, were you going to talk about him?
No, I got one, but continue who you're talking about.
Is from my darling Philadelphia Phillies. It's Aaron Nola, the man whose last name also describes where he's from, of New Orleans, Louisiana. 2-0 last week, and over 13 innings pitched, only let up 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, a 1.38 ERA to accumulate to a 1.99 ERA on the season, Greg. Aaron Nola has become a certified ace, the ace we all thought he would be. I could make a Philly humor joke, but I will do that with Matt on Thursday. So stay tuned for that. We're either going to drop it Thursday night or Friday morning. Greg, you did say you have somebody, so I'll throw it back to you.
Yes, I have. Sorry. Raisel Iglesias from the Cincinnati Reds. 3 saves in the last week, 6 innings, 8 Ks, 0 earned from the Cincinnati Reds, who was also an honorable mention for the hot team of the week. So, Reds, Raisel Iglesias. My cold pitcher is going to be from my Boston Red Sox, Craig Kimbrell. Not a great week. Blew a save with the Yankees. Almost had another one with the Blue Jays, 6.7 ERA in the last week. He does have the 2 saves, but again, he did blow a big one in New York. So that's the reason why he's my cold player of the week. Pitcher.
No, that's tough. I mean, the Phillies would have gone undefeated last week if Hector Neris doesn't blow yet another save. So I can certainly feel you there, Greg. But
let's look at Jordy. Who's your cold guy of the week?
So I don't have a full-on cold guy. Nearest might be one that I'd throw up there, but he only blew 1 save. One I did want to mention is Corey Kluber. He had a good week in terms of he went 1-1 and had 13 innings pitched. That means he went at least into the 7th inning at least once, if not twice. The thing that I want to give him a knock on, though, is that he only had 8 strikeouts, Greg. 13 innings, he only had 8 strikeouts. It's not the Corey Kluber we know. So it's not concerning, but makes me a little nervous if I'm a fantasy owner. That's more meant to be humorous than anything else.
No, I laughed. I for sure laughed. Pulling up his stats, but no, Kluber's a good choice, and again from that Indians team that is hanging on for dear life right now. So I like it. I went with 2 bullpen guys because it is the bullpen card, and the only one who keeps the bullpen card name relevant, I guess.
Hey, well, I have a figurine in the apartment here. Don't get at me about that.
Since I gave my stadium snack, any bleacher creature, Jordy?
Couple I can think of. There was a number of stuff that we saw for Mother's Day yesterday with fans going around. The one that I did find funny that I saw on the NHL's Twitter to use a different sport for this, but it's funny enough, and we've talked about it, you and I both, throughout the playoffs, was 2 guys holding up giant iPhones, and it's missed calls from the NHL refs, a number of missed calls on their phones. So I thought that was pretty funny and a pretty savage move from I forget who he was even from. I think it was Winnipeg, but I thought it was pretty funny there.
Yeah, no, I like that. I was going to go with the Mets batting out of order.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking wild. That's teetering on baseball players going fucking nuts. Because you see what Mickey Callaway said about it?
No.
So to give a background of what happened, the New York Mets on Thursday batted out of order. Basically what happened was they gave a lineup card to the Reds, who they were playing, and the Reds manager saw what got put up on the scoreboard that said, as Drupal Cabrera was supposed to be batting second, he ended up batting third, and I forget who batted second, but as Drupal Cabrera was the big part there. They go 1-2, and Cabrera goes up and gets a double. He gets a ground rule double. The Reds manager comes up, shows the lineup card to the Reds, and Drupal Cabrera gets ruled out as a ground out to the catcher. Nobody had any idea what was going on, basically until like MLB PR said the Mets batted out of order. Because if you were watching this game on Gamecast, I think the only one that had it was MLB.TV said that the Mets batted out of order. Anywhere else, it just said, is Drupal Cabrera out? As Drupal Cabrera grounds to catcher. I think some show the official scoring as U2. Nobody had any idea, which is catcher unassisted for those not in the official scoring lingo. So nobody knows what's happening here. And then it comes out. It's typical Mets move. Their manager, Mickey Callaway, comes up after the game and says he saw it on the scoreboard and he knew it was wrong, and he basically just did nothing about it. Like,
I mean,
how do you do nothing about it? Call somebody. You have a fucking call. You have a phone that calls the bullpen. You don't have one that calls the fucking the press box.
Yeah, but even that, like, as the manager, how do you not tell your players it's wrong, and how do you not tell your players who oh, I see this guy's warming up and it's in the wrong, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's pretty wild how all that went down.
So that's my thing, is it just sounds like an excuse, but either way, that was my Bleacher Creature of the week. Jordy, anything else wrapping up this Major League week?
Yeah, we had our tailgate on Saturday to the game that did not end up getting played of the Phillies Mets series, but definitely a fun time. Thanks for those who all came down. Not a big tailgate, but we definitely had a good time. Had some Summer Loves down there. The beer we always talk about because it has the baseball image on there, but it no longer does. They changed their can. But definitely a fun time. Shout out to my guy Steve Kaiser, big Mets fan, who made a tremendous smorgasbord of barbecue foods. He smoked up some pork shoulder, and he did both pulled pork, and he also cubed up the smoke, like one of the others. He bought like 3 of them, and he pulled 2 of them apart for pulled pork, a little fattier pulled pork. And the third one, he cubed it so that you could put on like a hamburger bun or something like that, and it wasn't spilling all over the place like pulled pork sometimes does. Then he also smoked garlic, hot garlic wings, I think it was. So it was chunks of garlic and hot sauce on these wings that he smoked. So basically just fell right off the bone. It was incredible, Greg. You should have been there.
I guess my invite got lost in the mail, and having not eaten dinner before this pod, you just have made me super hungry.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat now. I really just dug my own grave.
So we'll go out.
Yeah,
we'll go out
it happens.
But listen, Jordy, great week in baseball. Excited to hear the Philly talk for next or on Thursday again.
Well, let's look at the week ahead before we jump out.
Oh, I'm sorry. How could I be so rude? I thought we already. My mistake.
No, we mentioned a couple, but we should the series to look forward to, a weekday and then a weekend.
So my weekday series, a lot of places we could go, but I personally am going to go with the Chicago Cubs, Atlanta Braves.
Solid.
Both teams coming in hot. Both teams need a win. Braves have sort of surprised people, and the Cubs sort of need to win to stay on top. What's yours?
So mine's going to be the White Sox and the Pirates. I think there's a lot of potential there. And no, I'm just kidding. I'm going with the Astros visiting the Angels. We've talked about them both a lot, but
Yes.
definitely a very pivotal series in the AL West. And Greg, it looks like here tomorrow night's game in Angel Stadium of Anaheim of California of North America, of which America, I fucked it up. The lowest tickets are $3. So we could fly out there and really save some money.
I love it. I love it. I love it. We should have mentioned Nationals versus Yankees. Hopefully the Nationals sweep the Yankees, because the Red Sox could use a little help from other teams right now, but hopefully that helps. Give me your weekend series before I reveal mine.
Yeah, mine is going to be I'm going to go with the Dodgers and the Nationals.
Nice. Like it.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely one where it should have been a lot better before a lot of Dodger players hit the DL, but you do get some good pitching matchups. Rich Hill just got back off the DL, and he'll be facing Steven Strasburg on Saturday. You get the Alex Wood, Jeremy Hellickson showdown as well. Two guys that can do pretty well for their respective squads, but have been shaky at times. So you get some of that there. What do you got?
Yeah, so I mean, I wanted to say Phillies
Cardinals.
Phillies Cardinals, since both teams are in second place, and huge series for them. Both of them actually. But the fact that it's at St. Louis means you're not going to get the best Phillies team. Ooh, burn.
I mean, they've not been very good on the road.
Crush that joke. Hardy har har. So what I'm going to do, Jordy, in turn is turn around and go with the Milwaukee. Just kidding. Houston Astros, Cleveland Indians. Again, Indians need to turn their season around fast, and the Astros are just that buzzsaw team that's not going to let that happen. So,
especially in Houston. I mean, we talked about the record before, but I mean, that's something that you think the Astros would just tear them down, but we'll see. You get Kluber versus Keuchel on a Saturday, and then you get, it looks like, Carrasco versus McCullers. So two good showdowns. One that we also should throw out there is Arizona versus the Mets. You get that Zach Greinke, Noah Syndergaard showdown on Sunday afternoon. So that if you can find that on TV, which it doesn't look like it's on nationally, so you'd have to be in either market, but definitely check that out.
Yeah, and also Rockies and Giants, sort of a big interleague series. I know it's too early to play off into implications, but the 2 3 teams in the West, and trying to stay above the Dodgers there and catch up to the Diamondbacks. So
what were you throwing the interleague out for?
Not interleague. I'm saying interdivision.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, I got you now. I got a little confused there. My mind's not as big as yours.
Well played.
Oh.
Well played. George Washington Cannell, the 6th. Great MLB pod.
Oh yeah.
Here's what I'm going to say about the NBA. I think this Rockets and Golden State series is blown out of proportion. Some people say the other way. Some people say it's going to be the greatest series. I think it'll be good for sure, but I think the Golden State Warriors win in 5, maybe 6. I would say 5. 5 maximum, in my opinion.
Maximum.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
I'm not entirely sure because I think the Warriors win this. I would say 6. For whatever reason, I have this thing about picking games and series in 5. I always think people are going to show up at home and then they never do. They really depress you that way. But yeah, they
because the Phillies only win at home.
No, that was more of a jab at the Flyers. But no, I think it is a little more blown out of proportion of that it's going to be the greatest series ever, and that it's going to determine I do still think it determines the championship if Houston does somehow pull this out. But I think the Warriors have it pretty easily.
Love it. And Celtics, Cavs, Jordy, I know game 1 went favorably for the Celtics, but there's a team that the Celtics really came out more hungry and wanted it more, and I don't think the Cavs were ready. And I think they caught the Cavs off guard, and I don't think it's going to happen again.
Did they steal one more?
The hope is if they win game 2, I'm very hopeful. If they win game 2, Jordy, I think there's a shot that they legit could win. They lose game 2, I'm not hopeful at all. So, no. But then again, they won game 1, lost game 2 against they split Milwaukee. So, they split with Milwaukee and ended up going 7. So, yeah, the big difference too is the Cavaliers are not going to make the last 2-minute mistakes that the 76ers made. Yep. So if the game's close in any way, the Cavs are just not going to make the same mistakes that the made. And second thought, Milwaukee series where the Celtics, it was like blowouts, and they had the superstar in Giannis who he didn't really take the shot at the end of the game. So this is something that I think the shot needs to be taken. LeBron will take the shot and win the game, obviously. So,
no.
Nervous if the game's close to the end, and hopefully they continue to blow the Cavs out. So,
just be nice.
Give me a reason. Give me hope here.
I would say everybody else around LeBron doesn't play well because he's had good performances from guys like Kevin Love. Really a lot of good performances out of Kevin Love, but J.R. Smith's had a couple good playoff games. But yeah, I think the guys around him aren't playing so well, and LeBron starts to turn it on a little too late. The Celtics could do something similar that they did on Sunday and continue to carry it. And I'm not too optimistic on it for you guys. I don't mean to be too much of a Debbie Downer because I think it's just the way that they're rolling now. It seems like they're unstoppable, but teams have gone colder faster. So don't lose hope just yet. I think you're right. If you win game 2 and you go back to you've been in Boston. You win game 2 and are able to split in Cleveland, or even if you're able to split in Cleveland, it's 2-2 coming back. You might have some hope there, but I would, it's going to be interesting how it all shakes out.
I love it. Thank you. Touching on golf before we get into hockey, Jordy, explain to me how the Ryder Cup works. How many people automatically qualify? How many players?
So it's a team of 12. 9 of them qualify automatically.
Okay.
And it varies for each team of how their points work, but basically it's similar to the FedEx Cup. The better you do in tournaments, and the better you do in the more heavily emphasized tournaments, so the majors, the players, obviously this last weekend, and WGC events count more towards your Ryder Cup points, or for whether you're a U.S. or European player. But then there's 3 captain's picks that the non-playing captain will pick. Usually they're close on the fringe of that of the 10, 11, 12 spots. Sometimes he'll pick, guys that are, 13, 14, 15. Sometimes he picks guys that have had, great experience. So there's always some decision making around there of guys that the captain will pick, of whether or not he should have been in or who got snubbed, kind of like with the NCAA tournament, but obviously it's golfers and not a team, and a number of different reasons. There's the Ryder Cup's so interesting on how it all works out in terms of who's been there before and who does really well. You hear that a lot of, like, it's their first Ryder Cup, or all of their different records and stuff. So it gets interesting.
So the Ryder Cup USA Twitter account, official account of the United States Ryder Cup team, tweeted out two things today. They did Ryder Cup points per event, and Tiger Woods is 10th, one out right behind Phil. Yep. And then they had another one which said 2018 points standings, and Tiger's not even on it. So, of the top 10, I should say. So, just trying to figure out the way to do it. Hopefully, Tiger can make it. That's all I really want to talk about with golf. Anything?
Well, I mean, did you watch any of him on Sunday, or were you watching just the basketball?
Yeah, no, I did watch the golf Sunday. It was awesome to watch.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. I mean, obviously he fell apart a little bit in the final two holes, but if he nailed a couple putts a little bit further, like in the middle of the back nine, I think he doesn't whiff on 17 and really makes a charge. And you got to hand it off to Webb Simpson of really being able to close that down. There was a lot of talk of how he didn't even get the lead at the only U.S. Open he won 6 years ago until the 52nd hole, or not the 52nd, the 70th hole. I was thinking two behind. But good for him on winning.
Yeah, I mean, never want to see a guy with a belly putter or former belly putter win.
No.
But
he can't anchor it now.
He is American, so I'm happy with that.
No. How about this? It's the first time since 2001 that all four majors in the Players' Championship are held by Americans.
I love it.
And do you know who the Americans were in 2001?
Unless they're obvious names like Tiger and Phil, and let's see.
Do you want me just to tell you? Because I threw you for a loop by saying Americans. It was an American. It was Tiger. It was during the Tiger Slam.
Love it. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Tiger, simply the best.
Yeah, it went from the 2000 British Open through the U.S. Open in 2001.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. But yeah, quickly on hockey, and then we'll wrap this thing up. We said last week quickly that we thought Tampa was going to have a clear advantage over the Washington Capitals, and we both aren't looking so well, Greg. The
Capitals. I'm not sure if I said that. We'll have to have some fan.
I'm pretty sure we did. Yeah, at least we were both favoring them. I definitely did, so I'm just definitely wrong.
No, I mean I'm rooting for the Caps, but my heart has said Lightning for sure were going to be the stronger team. Very surprised that Tampa did not come out to play ready 2 games in a row at home.
Yeah, and then that Winnipeg Vegas series. Obviously, that's just one game in. Game 2 is about to start in like 30 minutes, but I like Winnipeg in this. I know that Vegas story has been great, but I think it's starting to slow down. But Marc-Andre Fleury, you got to put your hat off to him.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely was made look human by Winnipeg, and again, I'm kind of rooting for Vegas. But this Winnipeg team has been unstoppable and really have made light work of every team they've played. Obviously, taking down the Predators, who everyone thought the winner of the Preds Winnipeg series was going to be the Stanley Cup champions. So I would imagine most people are saying Winnipeg's going to win it all, but I would
especially now with Tampa looking like they did. But we can talk about that another week. Who knows if they're hopefully they're still going when we come back in. But I think that's going to do it for us, Greg. Thank you as always. It was a lot of fun.
Jordy, you're the best. Love being on. Thank you for inviting me on.
Absolutely.
I might have to skip the Phillies pod on Thursday, but let me know if you talk about anything else that like the Red Sox.
Well, maybe we'll sneak a little bit in. Maybe we'll sneak a shout out in for you. But You'll have to tune in to hear that. Yeah, stay tuned for that. It's probably going to drop Thursday night or Friday morning. The Philly special bullpen cart, but that's going to do it for the Week 6 recap here on the Bullpen Cart podcast. For my man Greg, this is the G-Man. Have a good week, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.